On a science end of things, Scott, I mean, what do you do for mold remediation? I mean, is it possible to save the crop, or what have you seen from some of your experiences on that? Is it based on how well you're drying, or what can be done to remediate with mold?
Well, I think, when you start talking about remediation, you're kind of in the hole already to start with.
Right.
One thing with both our hemp growers and our marijuana growers is that we want to always start with an ounce of prevention. Prevention is better than remediation. So in your drying barns and wherever you're going to be processing, take the time to do environmental monitoring, swabs, make sure that you sanitize the facility as best as you can. I know that for the typical grower, that may not make sense, but you're not. You need to make sure that you reduce yeast and mold spores in your drying facility as much as possible. Even though you're going to be bringing in a product that might carry that on there, reduce it. Don't have it on your surfaces. That's one way to start. When you start trying to remediate it off the product, processes like freeze drying, or if you're looking at UV lights and things like that, I mean, there are mechanisms in which you can treat that kind of stuff, but I don't know if it's economically feasible for industrial hemp versus the cannabis industry. So I think maybe Tony would have a better idea about the economic structure for something like that.
Well, what we did in we had a rain, we had some water settling in on one area, and some of the hemp that was actually touching the ground because it was too tall got mold on it. We went in there, we just pulled it out, and we destroyed it. I mean, we didn't even try to remediate it. We just took that as a hit and then just got rid of it, got it out of there. And then, then you put in the dryers. But yeah, we're being air dryers that we are. I know that mold issue, unless you're getting it from the field, isn't much of an issue for big dryers and stuff. But some of the boutique harvesting that we're doing and the plants that we're doing for some of the boutique industry don't want dried, don't want dry or dried hemp. They want it air dried because they believe that it affects the cannabinoids and stuff level a little differently. So we got that from some of our buyers last year, that they were happy that we weren't, putting it into a dryer. But so yeah, there is always that risk. And for me and for us, it was just a matter of trying to control it on the front end, like you were saying, Scott, culturally. Leaving space, you can't pack it in as tight because you're going to have to let air flow. It's like anything. If you're going to grow in a greenhouse or in a high tunnel, you got to let air flow, or you are going to get disease issues because you get stagnant, wet air, and then it becomes an issue. Right.
And I think, your integrated pest management is key. Making sure that, whether it's organic or not, making sure that you're handling your pest management in your field. Because anytime that you allow something else in there, like a borer or a hopper, they're opening up that tissue to exposure. And then you once that plant is open, now you've got a place for pathogens and molds and yeast to get in there and create colonization locations. And you want to minimize that. So it's all prevention.
I wanted to bring up a couple.
That's interesting.
Or go ahead, Tony.
Oh, no. I was just going to add to what Scott was saying. It was interesting because that was mentioned a while back. Last year, we had a really bad earworm issue on the buds, and they're wondering how that was going to carry over. I'm not sure if the entomology department at UK came away with anything, concrete, but that is an interesting observation that, yeah, you are opening up the plant to other issues. When you get that, like in Kentucky, the earworm was our major issue last year.